at me when you want me to hit play.
I'm a D-R-U-N-K-S-O-B.
Hey, Josh, nice music there.
Josh, who was that?
Kind of fitting.
Man, that's Roger Allen Wade with his song D-R-U-N-K.
That's awesome. I like that. We
Definitely.
should talk to him about incorporating local free music.
Yep, it's definitely working live.
This is enough.
Yeah.
Rob really likes this song. We like this guy.
So,
I'm not gonna lie, that song has been the theme song of my life more than once.
I can imagine that. I can. So, hey guys, it is another episode of What Are You Drinking Now here at the office. Another Monday night of fun and frolicking and beer and wine drinking.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really see a lot of frolicking.
Well, I frolic.
I'm about to frolic
Um,
in some Kolsch.
me, I'm drinking. Come on, I want to lay you again. Hey, it was. It's
Just because you got past the first date doesn't make me easy, Terry.
Yeah. It's Mackay Brewing, and I like those guys. We'll be getting more of their stuff in.
I'm drinking the extra special Sichuan from.
Oh, that is so good. Both that and then that.
I
we've
love
had.
this beer so much. I can't stop drinking it. Honestly, it's English bitters with Szechuan peppercorns in it.
Because really, actually, I should have bought another one of those tonight because I really like it.
Yeah, because it's got the dried
Chris Candler.
I bet, you know what? It would have gone good with my rice noodles tonight. Veggie rice noodles with shiitake.
Dude, this is just good. Like, I really love this
Yeah.
beer.
What you got over there, Nick?
Well, I mentioned Kolsch, but this is the Durham beer.
Bull Durham.
Yeah, so really cool. I was actually talking with Rob. It took me several times to notice that the bullhead has the pint glass in it. That's just so dumb, but I like it. I like those things. I thought that was cool.
So,
I don't actually know how to read, but I do have a copy of Beer and Brewing in front of me if you're curious.
they do have some good pictures for you.
Yeah.
That's a good picture.
Yeah. It's a diverse workforce for sure.
We've had an interesting week since last we saw you. Josh went to the hospital.
That? Did you say that?
No, I was trying to.
We had a couple hospital trips last week.
Yeah, you took your brother and Josh went, all for bug bites. Something about the bugs in the area are getting
It's
deadly.
definitely not fire
My
ants.
brother was grilling last night, and like fire ants got him again. He's like, "I'm freaking done with North Carolina. Like, I give up. I quit."
That's actually a pretty good impersonation. I guess living with him for 40 years or whatever it is.
It's like if Justin Long had to live in Chicago for 20 years, he'd sound like my brother.
Yeah, so it's definitely not fire ants that got me the other night.
Yeah?
Because I got bit by about 20 of them earlier this afternoon.
Yeah, how'd you do that?
Dad mowed the grass and I stepped outside.
That'll learn you.
That'll do you.
That'll learn you.
Yeah, and that, you know, flip-flops and freshly mowed grass, God knows where the hills were. Because you can't kill fire ants, apparently.
And
Well,
you can't see
not
them.
with a lawnmower, no.
No.
You can move them.
Yeah,
But yeah, so my right,
about 20 feet that way.
my right foot was on, it felt like it was on fire for a little bit, but I'm
Well,
pretty good.
fire, ants.
Yeah, and now the wasp that was inside the house.
I bet you were running around like a little girl, weren't you?
No, I was up by my computer, and it was a really intense gaming session. So it's like I just kind of like eyes darting, like, okay, it's not on me. That was like 6 inches from my face. We're good. Yeah, so I knew where the wasp was at.
And in case you were wondering, the medication that Josh has had me on this past week has had nothing to do with his hair. He's just acting stupid as usual.
We want it to look nice for the show.
We wanted to look nice for the show.
You know,
It looks nice, Josh.
just to the nines. I think your hair looks nice too.
Don't
Nick.
let the boys tease you.
All right, guys, what are we drinking tonight?
Who's starting this one off?
Not it.
I'm really digging these compliments. My ego is going through the roof right now.
Well, you wanted me to speak better Southern.
Better Southern.
So we've got a sour.
Hey, y'all.
We got a sour.
It's not just y'alls and brawls. It's a
Oh, a sour
more
and,
to it.
and
a sour and not a sour.
To sour or not to sour? You know,
A sour and IPA.
we had to. Yours is chilled.
yeah, probably the sour. I mean, it's not that bad.
I had a sour earlier tonight, so I got sour on the palate. I had a feeling Josh might pull a sour.
It's the sour power hour.
I think my selection will dig right through this one.
Sitting on the tower of power with the sour.
That's,
That's not what that means.
I don't know. I don't recall that one. Keeping it together with beers that evoke memories.
So this is the Passion Play from Birdsong Brewing out of Charlotte. I have not had this yet. There's passion fruit in this, hence the name of the beer.
Passion fruit gets mixed reviews in beer world. Some people are really fans. Kind of like guava. Guava gets kind of
I think there's guava in this too.
just in there, just not right up. But passion fruit strawberry. That's what's on the.
Oh, passion fruit strawberry, yeah. So there's no guava in this. Because normally there's always guava and passion fruit mixed together.
You see that in those tropical blends. I think they're matching some of the hot blends too when they're going for that. So no guava.
No guava.
Advertised. Just passion fruit and strawberry.
Which, from my one experience trying to cut a guava and like use it, I'm not a huge fan of guava.
Oh, you peel them.
It's beyond peeling. What's up with all those seeds, man?
I don't. Yeah, this and then you like filter. It's weird.
It's like a kiwi, but you can't eat the seeds.
Yeah, no. It kind of goes the direction of flax on that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could eat flax seeds.
Just don't chew them up a lot.
You shouldn't.
Although, why do I put flax in the blender with my smoothie if that's the case?
I don't know.
Oh wait.
You don't.
My brother does, and I can't stand it when he does it. I put that out there on the net right now.
All right, so
Don't flaxseed my chocolate chip cookie, and there's no need to flaxseed my smoothie. Okay, I'm just gonna throw that out there.
all right, we already went over. This is from Charlotte, correct?
Yes.
It's good, nice redirection.
Birdsong, yeah. All right, so we're staying.
Birdsong.
If
We
I
like these guys. We had a couple other brews from them.
yes, yours is South Carolina, but I think everything else beer wise is North Carolina.
Is in the Carolinas.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting closer and closer to home with this.
Yeah, we're keeping it regional.
Ernie says, "Look at these beautiful people."
Yeah, Ern, you know
Ernie.
what? Ern gets I forgot to shoot him a little message on Untapped for everyone. I happen to know Ern's on there. Last time I put him in a beer, he shot me a picture of him drinking a beer, which I thought was really cool.
Which was not the beer that you.
But it was in a Bud Light glass that he was drinking, but I'm pretty sure it was not Bud Light.
Fair enough.
So we got Jessica. She's watching. She's looked in.
Nice.
Knights of the Rectangle Table.
That's funny.
Gene Morgan's checking in. We got Chris Candler's been watching for a while.
What up, neighbor?
Denise Moore was, or Denise Salerno was on for
Lawn
a little
looks
bit.
good, buddy.
So we're catching everybody up. We're drinking the Passion Play from Birdsong. It's a sour, and I think Josh and Nick talked about having passion fruit and strawberry, right?
It's an interesting, like, just on the nose. Mm-hmm. It smells like your typical sour, but the strawberry comes through, and like I'm so used to having passion fruit with guava. It's nice it's refreshing to see it with something else.
Yeah, it definitely, you do get that strawberry on the nose, which is unusual, but it does smell like your typical sour.
Yeah, but I'm very curious about this.
Huh. So, again, typical sour. Not getting any strawberry on the palate.
All right, I'll get into it. I had to get everybody going, get my badges.
You know, the strawberry is relatively muted. I'm really having to search for it.
Yeah.
Well, it's different. You know, once you get into sour beer kind of itself resembles the tartness of strawberry. So, like getting into the fruit, what is the fruit of the strawberry beyond just the flavors like it that are already there in the beer, right?
It's like listening to like a death metal band that never published lyrics for the song, and I'm just like trying to force words into it.
Like everybody you talk to who's a fan of them, that is not what they said,
That's
man.
not what he said.
Why? What'd you
man.
hear?
It's like that's totally like I hate life, you know.
On the other hand, though, like there's lyrics that should never be published. Like no one ever needs to actually know the lyrics of a Fish song.
I don't think anyone ever needs to hear a Fish song.
Not wrong.
Debate that one at home.
For the
guys.
life of me, I don't understand how that band exists.
Find out more about your spouse. You know, be
I
like,
don't understand why.
hey,
Fish is
I'm
a
bulking
thing.
up my metal collection. I'm gonna throw out all your Fish tapes. Is that cool?
The only fish I'm cool with is the one that lives that way, and the ones that I catch out of a pond and ocean.
Uh-oh. Josh is getting summoned.
Yeah. So it seems like Rob figured out how the cell phone works.
No, that wasn't me.
It was me, actually.
Yeah, it wasn't
It
me at all.
just took a while. Rob, you got yours pretty quick.
I don't think I got anything from you.
I remember you said that.
I
When's your
didn't get
birthday?
I didn't get anything.
So, typical sour.
I
Does have a little funk on the back end.
Ernie, the answer to that question is, I believe. Hold on, you're gonna make me look this up.
Little bit of funk on the back end. And I think that comes from the passion fruit, like souring up.
Yeah, I actually don't hate this.
I've had, full disclosure, I have had several of these already. Not tonight, but over the past couple weeks. What's the ABV on that, Nick?
I told you I don't read a lot.
827, Ernie.
6.2 alcohol by volume in this pint can that's priced at $4.75.
728 unique ones.
Good price point there for that too.
I think so. I think it's.
Ooh,
I mean,
that's a good one.
Coming in at under $5. There's a beer I have that we'll talk about, and there was another one I saw on the shelf today priced at $5, and I thought like, hey, what a good price for a pint can of beer, knowing full well, it's gonna cost me $6 and change to get a pint poured here. So
Yeah.
you know, looking at really nice craft beer at that nice price, I thought that was pretty cool.
This is a really nice mild sour is how I would like word this.
I mean, I think it's something we all talked about before and all during this year. We're going to get used to, unfortunately, these prices on craft beer.
Yeah, unfortunately, everything's going up.
The realities of craft beer being able to hold prices.
The realities of the world in general.
$5 for a pint can of beer, though, is really not a bad price.
I actually thought about this whole debate.
Never really been a bad price.
It might be a better price for me because then I don't drink like 16 pints in one night and think that's great because that suddenly gets expensive. But if it's only $2, like bring them on, right? We'll start throwing them at each other.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to. Well, I might throw a can at you, but don't throw one at me.
Well, that's like...
Rob, I don't care how you do your laundry.
That's like out in the Outer Banks, man, at the Jolly Roger when they have like the 75-cent pints of Busch Light on karaoke night.
Nobody ever said you
Which
had
is
to
every
drink
night.
it. That's not like...
Which is every night.
Yeah, there's karaoke every night at the Jolly Roger.
When was the
And
last time you went to your favorite watering hole and you bought... And they said, well, no, you need to drink that. Here, you can't do anything else with that.
Like,
Now I'm going to let Josh tell the remainder of this story because this is very important to keep in mind.
Well, if you buy a packaged product at a bar, you can take it with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This
Every
is not about-
bar, every
premises.
bar in North Carolina, if you buy like a can of beer and you don't open it, you can take it with you.
This is not
Every
about
bar
our
has an
premises.
office. Yeah.
But once you pour me a glass of beer,
Uh-huh.
who says I have to drink the beer?
You just paid for what's in the glass. It's up to you what you do.
So again about karaoke night.
Oh yeah, I mean, you still have to carry it to the stage. I mean, there's a good chance you're going to spill it on the ground and have to buy another one. That floor is not the most level.
I think I could get some beer all the way to the stage, given what song somebody's singing.
I think I'm just confused.
That's like going. Well, that's like the Fat Pelican in Carolina Beach. The first struggle is picking your beer out. The second one is keeping it without spilling it on the uneven ground in the entire bar. That's how they make their money. You spill your beer.
Spill your beer. That's their business model, right?
Well, it's actually a really cool bar though, but it is an uneven floor. It keeps you.
So, I have to say I dug that. I've had it a couple times already. Not bad. Kind of a little refined, but
It's a lower acid sour, which
Yeah.
I really appreciate because some sours out there are so aggressive.
We
that
talked
they,
about like vinegar sours before.
like balsamic, yeah.
yeah.
and
Would you put
some
this
that are,
there?
like,
No,
aggressive,
that
like,
doesn't come across
they're
balsamic.
So aggressive, they just give you like heartburn as soon as you take your first sip.
I had my first check-in from Crystal fan.
Ah,
Okay.
Yeah, if you hear some noise in the background, I think Don Juan is doing some mopping.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
One.
So I
don't want anything to do
I
with
should
us.
I should not walk out there.
But
Yes, Rob. Caution, wet floor.
But
That's
back
what
to
you
the beer,
hear.
I do appreciate like a mild sour, and that's a really nice, mild, easy drinking sour. I do like that.
Cool. I have to agree. I'm fond of it as well. Very nice and easy on the palate. It's not doesn't give you high acid and like a burn.
How do you spell quaffable?
And you and I both probably.
QUAFFABLE.
It is two F's in quaffable.
You and I both like struggle with GERD a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and not like badly, but
Branson is checking in.
Oh, Bran, the man.
He is drinking tonight Mer Soleil because that's what she wanted. I'm thinking maybe Branson's had more than a glass.
No, if you recall some other elements of our last tasting, that text is hilarious.
if Branson had a mansion, it would be called the Branson.
I like that.
Not
I
the
like
Branson Manson. I mean, no. Whatever.
No, it'd be the Branson.
The Manson Branson.
He's there. That's
So yeah.
these are our friends we're talking to, Rob.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hey, I'm an equal opportunist.
I like this on the nature. I was mentioning this earlier. I had the Epiphany Crystal Coast. My first check-in, and in the way that you guys are talking about the mildness of the sour and not overwhelming fruit, just decent beer here, with a good buzz, great price. This is very drinkable to me. This is like, if I'm just gonna snag a sour off the shelf to break up the pattern, well done, Josh.
That's where the strawberries
Wait, hold on.
at.
Do we get
Back up.
judges? Oh, we got a 7-5 from
7-5,
Germany.
Yeah.
They don't like that. They think you left it on the table.
He almost did.
He almost put it.
Hey, look, there's no chunk of cheese in my beard right now.
Not right now, no. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Funny.
It came back there.
I wanted to know if I get points if I find whole pieces of food in there.
You had a whole stand of cheese in my beard.
He was about to deliver food to a table.
I don't even want to talk about that. Because there's so many levels that's just wrong.
It has nothing to do with anything. It's just vigorously
Nothing. It
making
has
food.
nothing to do with anything.
So when Josh works in the kitchen, he's like the chef from the Muppets.
Yeah, Swedish Chef. Rob, just think about that the next time you send me back to find out how much longer the Swedish Chef thinks it's going to be, okay? I never phrased the question with so many potentials. Now listen, I'm only back here because
So we ready to move on to the next beer?
I got mine. Yeah.
All right.
That was good.
Oh, Jesus.
It was good. I'd just say it's a good mild sour. Give it a shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
This is not a sour.
This is not all right. So this is not typical for Nick, I believe, right?
Yeah, this gets back into the territory. I got Mad Mole, and apparently what I was talking about earlier is true with this. Oh, yeah, I like that color. Oh, yeah. Oh, that had really good sound.
Oh, Gene and Ernie are having a conversation back and forth on there's a lot worse things out there than fish. Ooh, excuse me.
Easy on my
The
neighbors.
band?
Yeah.
Gene and Ernie. This is great. This is great.
Gene
and Ernie going
Morgan.
on.
And
Neither of them have been to a fish show.
and then Ernie's
Well,
like very true Gene. And
I'll have to check
Actually,
it out.
Trey-
I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't
Trey
put
is
it
a great
past-
player.
I wouldn't get it past. Number one, I happen to know Ernie has seen like fish at like Lemon Wheel or like in Rye or somewhere up north where you had to be like one of
Wait a minute.
500. Like
So fish on a lemon wheel or fish on rye? Is that what you said? I personally like the sandwich idea. Let's put it on rye.
you're starting to catch up with the names of these places.
Dude,
man.
I'm not doing this.
Hey, you know
I'm not
what?
doing
You know what
this.
it's called when they play in Wisconsin? That's fish and cheese.
Look, just sit me down in a room with Ernie and we'll talk about Clutch and any number of like heavy metal bands.
You guys, it's kind of intimidating actually. Like when you guys.
We deep dive we're deep metalheads, man.
You guys are in the mosh pit on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so swinging it back around to the beer.
Yeah, please.
We are doing Tunnel Digger from Mad Mole up in Wilmington.
Yeah.
This is Mad Mole's a new brewery to us. They've just started delivering down to our area, and we picked up, I think, 3 different beers from them. 2, that's right. For this time around, there's 2. And I think both of them were fairly solid from when we tasted them. So I have not had this one probably about 3 weeks, though, from the original tasting.
Yeah.
So
That was
some
a very
cool badges
interesting
on
tasting that we had with them.
So this is an IPA with Amarillo, Citra, and Motueka? Motueka.
I'm a huge fan of Amarillo hops. And Motueka is nice. That's a New Zealand hop. Amarillo, though, is one of my favorite like hops to just throw in somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like we talked about this with the Dorado and with the Amarillo. It's not because it's grown in Texas. Like it has to do with the coloring as it gets older.
Yeah.
And then how that color, that's the descriptor, isn't necessarily always about the visual look of the cone, but gets sometimes into just our flavor profile of it and stuff.
It's just from a homebrewing perspective, Amarillo is like super versatile because you can use it as bittering, flavoring. You can dry hop with it. I mean, it's kind of like a end all be all. Like if you're going to buy one hop for something, it's a good call.
I mean,
And is it El Dorado because it's the hidden hop? Because it's like, like
I was thinking, well,
Lost City of El
I'm sure
Dorado
it
or whatever.
was a hidden one, whereas more like, what's in Amarillo, Texas is Carhenge.
Not Amarillo. I'm talking about
I
El
know.
Dorado.
El Dorado, I heard you. But I guess what I'm drawing here on is that the
So,
color
is
in
Brittany
some
still
way
drinking after her birthday
they're
because she
describing
just,
equals the
I'm
flavor.
here, Nick.
That's right. Thank you, Brittany. She was mad because
Brittany,
she's barely awake at this point. I got her on like 3 check-ins already.
So I
Her
saw her.
phone's been going nuts.
I saw her. I was leaving Southport. I think it was her birthday night, and I was making the turn. I just want to say real quick,
$5 pint.
$5 pint, 6.1 ABV. So yeah, Nick, here's the can.
I gotta check in because Brittany said I'm here.
And so, yeah, I was making the turn left at the detour, and Brittany was coming from the other way, and she saw me after she about hit me and waved at me vigorously. I waved back. Good times, good times.
So I definitely got like a lemony zest kind of feel. And I'm just thinking, is that
Like a little bit
that Amarillo?
Yeah, and like it's like lemon drop kind of dill almost.
Yeah.
The dill comes from Motueka. Now,
Herbaceous.
is it bad that every time I think of Mad Mole, I just think of like Tears for Fears? Like it's a
Mad Mole. No, it happens to me every time.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
I think both of you are.
You can't cut us off.
No, I can't cut you off.
The other beer we have on the shelf from them is called
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
They have. They do.
So many layers to that.
And this
one
is Tunnel Digger.
Yeah, it's all about the moles, man.
And it's an earthy.
In case you didn't know, it's all about the moles with them.
There's so many layers.
Herbaceous.
Yeah, so many layers to it. Yeah. I love what they're going for, and
I'll stop waking Kelly up. We'll respect her bedtime.
I was genuinely excited to see that they had brought us samples and that we were able to get their product down here because it was like one of the last Wilmington breweries that I had not had anything from. Just because
You or personally or us?
myself
Almost left out
personally,
Ernie on that
and
one.
even working in the beer scene up there, it's like one of the breweries I just hadn't had a chance to go by, like check out, you know. So I was like personally very excited to see it.
Where's earthy? I want to add earthy.
You can do a search on that.
And there were a couple.
Hit the-
But why
hit the
has
arrow
nobody
up.
put that in yet?
But
No-
this is a solid.
Nobody put in
IPA.
bitter for me
What
yet
is
either.
it? Is this like a New England style? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say,
And Josh he wanted me to. Oh, herbaceous. My word is there, not herbal. Herbaceous. Yeah.
it's not quite as New Englandy like flavor profile wise as I'm used to.
It's definitely got that cloudiness.
But I mean, it's a solid IPA right here.
It calls it a NEPA on the can, does it not? New England style.
Yes.
It's closer to what the OG Nipas were than what they've become. So I got to give them credit for it. It's a solid beer.
Yeah.
It's not my style that I want to drink every day, but
I think this is, earlier on in my head while you guys were riffing, I was taking a sip and the word just bitter came through, and then I didn't say typical. I said normal IPA is what I said. It's a decent little New England. It's not going to.
That citrus note is just waning as I sip it more and more.
Yeah, it's not. To me, it doesn't totally wow
Smelling
me.
your mic?
I was, but it's actually my mustache that I'm smelling. So
Your mustache just interrupted Rob.
It's not something that I'm totally going to be wowed about. Of course, I'm not wowed about a lot of IPAs, but there are a couple. I mean, like the one from here from Mackay, I like. This one I don't like.
I don't like it.
You know, it's a decent little IPA for me.
So you don't hate it?
That's right. I don't hate it. I can drink it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not an IPA drinker, drinking IPAs is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you're not a red wine drinker, drinking red wine can be hard.
Or if you're not a Pinot Noir
This
drinker.
next comment's going to tell you why I'm an IPA drinker. The
You know,
more I drink
I'll-
this,
you
the
know,
less it tastes.
If you're not a Pinot Noir drinker, but you are a red wine drinker, you can suffer through Pinot Noir.
Yeah, especially if your wine reps keep bringing Pinot Noir for you every week
Mm-hmm.
until you get used to it.
Or if it's free,
I feel like Rob may have encouraged them to do so.
Yes,
Okay, so-
any of our reps, if you're watching, you'd already know Josh's love of Pinot Noir. However,
it's okay. My boss is sadistic. I've gotten used to that. You know, and eventually,
and so are the wine reps.
Can I point out Rob's level of sadism?
yeah, it's okay.
He
You just
bought
have to
more
have-
than a shelf of Chardonnay and Cabernet
You
Sauvignon
have
before
to-
we told him to stop.
It's just one of those life lessons you learn. You just have to adjust your level of masochism to everybody's level of sadism, and then everyone's happy.
Yeah. That's actually
so
key
Lisa
balance
just
to life.
Lisa just joined in on the conversation and said, "Yes, he is." LOL.
Whoa! Blast from the past there, Rob.
Here's the funny thing.
Is that an old employee?
So
or-
no. Here's the funny thing. Lisa and I are friends way back. MMORPGs, online role playing games.
Okay.
Way back. I mean,
EverQuest
we're talking.
days?
Yeah, we're talking 15, 20 years ago.
Are we talking EverQuest 1 or 2? Or we like Guild Wars?
I don't think they ever came out with 2. Anyway,
She just told you what game, I think.
yeah. Well, I'm calling her out. Anyway, she has actually been in the shop,
Oh, it is that Lisa.
but I have never met her in person.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
When she came into town, she didn't let me know.
That explains the
Mind
crypticness.
It was back when we were serving soup. She's been in the shop.
Nice. That's awesome.
Wow, back in the soup days.
Yep. So
Can we just start with bringing back chili? I would just be stoked. Just for chili.
just for the chili, yeah.
The red pepper Gouda.
We had some of those. Some of those soups were really
tomato
good.
biscuit stuff
Dude,
was
I used
very
to
good.
love the soup. That was way before I worked
Now the
here.
fact that both you and I make soups.
She just said, "Yes, I did. I've been there 3 times.
I've met
And I have-
Lisa.
and I have
had
not
no
met her once.
idea.
I've not met her in person once."
You see, that's the beauty of that entire like
Yeah.
gaming community.
Yeah.
Like it's if you're not a part of it, you don't understand. You know, that's
I
really what it
clearly don't understand. However, I met Lisa, so I win.
is. Maybe you don't know.
Oh, yeah. Or was it really? Could have been somebody else in the group masquerading as Lisa.
There's so many layers. There are so many layers to this onion that we'll never peel through them all.
Speaking of peeling back some layers.
Let me do our producer a little favor. Oh, I just knocked you guys out of camera.
Are we still,
Hey,
are we still on the camera? Easy there, Rob. My neck hurts.
Remind me to put chain hoist on the list of stuff we need for next week. It's like it looks like Rob needed some help getting out of that chair.
I have one.
I was trying to get out without like.
have the controller in his own hand.
I was trying to get out with like.
You and I need to raise it
I mean, there's so much stuff around me. I was trying to get out without knocking stuff around, and obviously, I still knocked the camera. So.
Are you sure that wasn't the Mad Mole? Digging
No.
through the tunnel?
The Mad Mole did not come and get me.
Because what was the ABV on that thing? I think that thing's kind of a secret search and destroyer. Right now. Like it does not taste like much.
Jessica Walburn says French onion if we're putting in a request.
And Jessica for the win right there.
right there. We do have some provolone.
See,
in
this is
house,
how I know we have similar palates because we talked about pickles and pickled okra, and now she's going on French onion.
Would you say it has to be Gruyere on top?
Yeah.
That's the traditional way to do it, with like the nice baguette crouton in there.
We grew up down the block from Sargento in the middle of a craft city. Yeah, we just did it with Swiss and provolone.
Yeah, that's sad.
You just layer the two together.
It almost tastes like Gruyere.
Just poor man's Gruyere. I just want to tell you all. One slice Swiss, one slice provolone. If you're feeling like really funky, put a half slice of cheddar in the middle.
So yeah, we'll come back and rate that Mad Mole here.
I've eaten
I dig it. It went
two-
down easy.
I have like gone to the store twice today and bought pickles to eat.
And yet you didn't bring any?
I ate them all.
Yeah, because once he cracked the Netflix pickle and dill or whatever, Netflix and dill. I'm still trying to skank and pickle here.
I don't
Wine,
understand-
fellas?
Yes, you understand that.
I don't understand why I'm so obsessed with pickles lately.
Oh, the Murray? Murray!
I walked in this morning and I told Ashley, it's like, I think I'm pregnant.
She probably said, okay.
Did your girlfriend do that to you?
I don't know. I just can't get enough pickles.
Don't be moving that around, man. I'm trying to pour it.
That reminds me of a funny conversation I encountered the other day.
What?
Well, remember A Few Good Men?
Well, I've known a few good men in my life, yes.
Yeah, but like Nick, in the scene where he's like,
You can't handle the truth?
yeah,
God. That is the movie that's from.
yeah, that's it.
Ernie called you out that your onion soup. He said trailer park onion soup, Nick.
What did he call it?
Trailer park onion soup.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Ern.
Trailer
I
Park
like the
Onion.
name there. That could get on my food truck.
And he grew up in one of the rich suburbs of Chicago.
Ernie, I don't actually have my CDL intact. Say I start a food trailer. Do you think you'd want to, drive the front end, turn that thing into a food truck? Who'd be the first food truck on 18?
You're trying to talk about a semi-trailer, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. You have to be able to cook first.
I can do that. Is that a challenge?
No.
Is that?
No, that was just a quick jab.
Do you need me to get something on the grill this week?
No,
for
no
you?
challenge. That was just a quick jab.
I feel the challenge.
Hey, one of these weeks, what we should do on a side before we get into this wine.
Should I do gumbo on Rob's grill?
What we
and
should
just blow his
do,
fucking
we should
mind?
have a cook-off between the three of us. We pick two dishes,
Yeah.
and we have a cook-off. We film it.
Yeah.
I would wager that Josh would win.
I don't know.
Is this wait? How do we decide who wins?
I wouldn't wager who would win.
Is
because
popular-
with cook-offs, because you have to judge it based on
popular decision, but there has to be some stipulation and challenge. So
You
you have
have
to
to
meet
have-
category
yeah, you
and
have-
ingredients,
You'd
right?
have to have two different. You'd have to have a popular vote and grade it on a scale, and that's how you'd have to do it. Now, do I think there'd be? Yeah. So again, we'll save that for the end of the show. But I think that's a cool kite.
All right, so I'm just
All
gonna
right,
throw it out there to
so
the audience.
Jessica says Robot Dick's food truck.
Yes. Food concept Jess and I had earlier.
And then Lisa says I would come down for that. Talking about the
The
challenge.
Robot dicks.
No, talking about
Oh,
the challenge.
Just totally misunderstood.
Yeah,
Where Rob
yeah.
was going with that.
No, I was not going with
Thought
Robot
my-
Dicks for Lisa.
But Ernie, if you want to drive the tractor for Robot Dicks,
So, the wine we're drinking tonight, we actually just brought this in this past week. The Murray Red Blend.
I know we tasted it, and I know I like it.
I'm
but
already
I gotta
liking
say, when I pulled it out of the box the other day, the labeling is lacking.
oh,
Yeah, it seems like there was a
label
different
got
label
stuck
on
in the
on the
box,
one we
or-
tried.
I feel like there's either a label missing or it's just.
Oh, on the back?
Don't worry, it's every bottle.
No, but
if it all made the label, does it have fluid ounces, ABV,
No, I mean, it's
appellation,
not missing
production,
crucial
seller,
information. It's not missing crucial information. Like it's a valid label.
3 lines? That's American. Don't get me started on. Why is it that?
I can tell you from the smell of this that I like it.
Yeah,
it's got all the information it
I can
needs.
tell you from the smell of it. I stopped.
And if I
smelling and started
remember,
drinking.
this was a blend of a few vineyards.
Yeah, it's one of those crazy blends where there's not a lot of information
Yeah.
going on.
In fact, I think we had to look it up on 750,
Cheers, Kelly.
and then it wasn't.
Cheers, Ernie.
So Murray, this is a blend from Columbia Valley,
Which is in Washington.
which is in Washington.
Yeah.
Nick used to hang around
Technically,
that
it's a blend
region.
from Yakima and Columbia Valley.
Yeah, but I
Two
think,
sides of the mountain.
but
if
I
you recall.
think,
Nick used to suck on some Dolomite up there.
Well, my roommate Marlis was from Kennewick.
I'm not gonna touch the Dolomite though, like Nick did. I'm sorry.
No, there's no Dolomite in. North Cascades has the closest thing you're gonna find to it, and it's just not there.
I'm sorry, Nick. Josh set that one up. Look, he's about to lose.
Listen it.
So, yeah, you did say Yakima. However, I think the one is a sub-AVA of the other one. I think.
Yakima is a sub-AVA
Yep.
because it drains directly to it.
Well, I also think it sits in the actual overall AVA
That's
of
right.
Columbia Valley.
Well,
So,
you have to be in order to be a sub-AVA, you'd have to be a tributary river valley. I
well-
mean, just simple geography. This sounds like simple stuff to us, but I think it's important to.
no, you're simplifying. You're getting it down too much. It doesn't have to be a tributary river. It has to be in the main AVA.
If you're
Yes.
gonna be a slice of the pie, you have to be a piece of the pie.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where the river is. But
In Yakima River's case, it does.
okay. I'm just saying in general. But the thing is, the reason this is listed Columbia Valley and not Yakima is
That's right.
there are grapes taken outside of the sub-AVA of Yakima.
It's two sides of the mountain are used in this, and the two sides of the mountain are in two different
Yeah.
watershed drain, but it's all Columbia Basin. But the point is, this is basically grown on the lower Yakima, right where it turns the corner and meets the Columbia. So it's on that last range, very close to some of our favorite wines, Two Mountain, which is right there in Richland. So it's very important to just kind of recognize the importance of that reach, what they call Columbia Reach, right there, or Hanford Reach if you get into the DOE.
So one of the things I get right off on the nose is cedar box spice.
Yeah, I get that. Almost verging on like eucalyptus.
Dry, powdery, like you opened up a cedar chest.
Yeah, well, the cedar blocks you put in any old chest just to stave the moss off, right? Keep it from eating your wool and cotton.
I know you said dry and powdery like cedar, but when you first said that, I also thought you said rye. And when
That's not
when
unheard of with this, yeah.
When I misheard that, it almost smells like caraway in here too.
Now,
I think
the
it's-
spice that you
I think
get
it's-
with rye
yeah.
bread.
I think
And-
it's interesting. We're getting right down to these more tannic expressions and the wood behind us, but there is some.
I have to.
Yeah, your hair was kind of weirding me out.
My forehead was getting hot.
so
Well, there's
as I aerate this too, more fruit opens up a lot.
yeah, and that's kind of what I recall from the really nice classic Columbias was. In general, we're gonna remember them as being fruity, but your first impression is not always the big fruit. It's like this stonewash or this textile or this tree stump.
I gotta remember that's there. I got this new setup on the mic, and I'm
really. But see how it handled that though?
yeah.
Shock absorption.
Yeah. I'm have this new mic setup. I really like this new setup. I just gotta get used to where everything's at.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice. We'll give some notes to the production agent and the roadies later. One of the notes I have to tell them though is, "Don't you freaking move my piano." Anyways, this to me is classic Washington State, Columbia Valley taste. This is what I learned to love about Columbia Valley when I lived out there.
Now, didn't you say that you thought you'd had this when you were living there?
And as I saw it again, and I was like, oh, it's Murray! Like, I had some friends who got into the stuff because they would go out to George, otherwise known as Gorge, but it's George Washington. Yeah, huge pun. But it's like the city right on the edge of and String Cheese Incident, and we brought up the jam bands would throw a show called
why is
3-day show
more
called
cheese?
Sasquatch Festival. And I'm pretty sure all anyone did out there was drink wine and eat mushrooms.
Did they make the string cheese out of Gruyere?
Probably, knowing those guys.
Were they eating baby bellas and stuff up that way?
Oh, yeah. Those were probably on the menu.
Lots of oysters.
There's a lot of cow pastures out that way, too. It's but this is why I bring it
They
up.
were eating
I
cow
brought up the
patties?
Gorge.
Nothing like
Bring up
nothing like a little bit.
Bring up the Columbia. Once you climb the Cascades and cross over, I know we all
Do I have to
Pacific
climb them or
Northwest
can I
has
take a
been in
plane?
the news.
I'd rather cross over in a plane.
I'm also well.
I mean, I'm not in shape to climb.
Listen, if you want, I can show you the one river you can cross over in a raft.
Cabs and cats.
It's going to take like a series of class 5 rapids.
What do you think about that? Cabs and caps.
I'll have to remember that for the Mad Mole
Festival. That's
review.
a fun festival right there.
And the whole note I was going to bring up just got me really curious to know what's going to be happening with vineyards this year with these heat domes that we've been seeing in the Pacific Northwest, which is that the wet side of Washington, we call it the wet. West is wet, east is dry. That's how you remember it in the Cascades. But the west side has been experiencing heat dome, but so has the east side, and the east side is very dry. I mean, you get past Ellensburg all the way down to Yakima. Yakima's actually technically a desert city, less than 10 inches of rainfall. I mean, it's tucked behind two of the continent's largest mountains, Mount Tahoma, otherwise known as Rainier, and then right next to it and behind it is Mount Adams. And the Yakima River kind of comes off the back of Mount Adams, off its saddle from Rainier, and that's what that river is. It's a desert river. I mean, there used to be a CBA basketball team, the Yakima Suns, fed into Phoenix. They were the only guys who they could acclimate to high desert climate to go play basketball in Phoenix. And this is a real story. They talked about the deaths in the heat dome. Guess where most of those were, guys? Yeah, Seattle had some deaths, but they were farm workers in the Yakima Valley.
Seattle, that's where Amazon's at.
Yeah, blame Bezos, basically. That's what I was getting at. And he's not really an astronaut either. Rob will tell you the details later.
So,
My point is this is quintessential Washington, and it exemplifies everything about the dry, desert steep territory that it comes from. It's high altitude. It's a lot of sun, but there's plenty of water because, well, it's grown on an irrigation basin, and they can irrigate when they need to. So if it's getting a little too dry, they throw some water up.
so you're saying they don't have worry or dangers of forest fires like
Oh, they do.
down south?
They do. It's all been burned out. It's already done.
Has already been burned out?
Yeah. It was done long ago. Controlled burns by the Nez Perce.
Do they still do control burns there?
Yeah. Nez Perce does them on their nation as well as around there. It's common practice.
Okay, well that's good because I know that's the big problem that California's had is not
Suppression.
not
Too
doing
much fire
controlled
suppression.
burns for
Washington took a far different attitude long ago of let's burn it. Let's burn it in control. And controlled burn was something I was taught.
and burning
It was a native
burning
practice.
land is it's
Traditional practice. I say native, but traditional practice.
it's a part of the ecosystem. It's better than
Kind of important.
yeah. I mean, it's better than letting it
Yeah.
just blow the whole countryside up.
I just emphasize enough. It's the term is controlled burn, and we do them here in Boiling Springs all
Well,
the
we
time.
do them here in North Carolina,
Yeah.
definitely in Brunswick County all the time. Yeah.
But we
I'll
do
move on.
also live in a
My
swamp.
big thing is though
But-
with these heat domes, I'm really curious to find out how this affects the fruit, and I really
Yeah.
want to know what's going to go on with 2021 wines.
Yeah. Washington, Oregon are going to be stepping up for the 2020-2021 vintages just because so much damage was done to wine country in California.
And now the pressure
In
is
2020.
on with the heat. Think about
So
this.
so you've got vineyards that are rebuilding. Most of the vineyards in California that got hit, it wasn't their actual vineyards. It was the buildings around the vineyards, their
Yeah.
crushing rooms and so forth and so forth.
Structures, yeah.
So they have to redo that. But
Well, as you pointed out, vineyards apparently create natural fire
their own fire
breaks.
breaks. That's right.
And vines themselves tend to be mostly temper resistant. So even if they get burned up, there's a good chance they'll still be able to get a lot of those vines back.
Well, and generally, if a vineyard has a fire come at it, it's only going to be the first 5 or so feet that burn, and then it's all
break, yeah.
it's all green anyway. So
Yeah, I mean, it's not the easiest thing to light a grapevine on fire.
no,
I just, as we talk about all this, though, I think it's important to just remember the stresses that are going on with wine country, especially in the west of America, that you put in forest fires, you put in development.
Well, I'll tell you another thing
put in
to
water
think about
pressure.
this coming year for wine out west, especially in this country. We may not have we may run into problems with harvest.
Workers.
I mean,
Workers.
with COVID and stuff, and we know how it's affected us here locally, but I mean, it's nationwide in all sorts of industries, and getting farmhands out there to work the fields to harvest the grapes.
The other thing to think about with California too, with like the fires and everything, the way water works in California is vastly different than pretty much everywhere else. Like that water exists.
Well, their main water reservoirs in what, Arizona or
the bulk of water in California is privatized.
or Nevada?
So water's not like a public utility
Yeah,
out that way. So I
But
don't know the deep die-hard.
but they have to ship it
facts
in.
and statistics,
They have
but-
to ship in most of their water from other states.
Oh, they wouldn't have to if water wasn't private. So there's like a whole thing with California and the water. I don't know how that happened. I remember reading about it a while back, but there's like a whole thing with that. So water is an issue.
The
out
Hetch
in-
Hetchy Dam on the American River. Research that, and you'll get a big picture on the history of
There's
that.
a whole history of water out in California and that side of the country, and water is a big problem out there. The existence of water is not the problem. The application of water is. But
Yeah. Also, water tends to run from it goes from high country to low country, and so one of the things that California has is the higher you go, the drier it gets. And apart from the Sierra Nevadas, where snowpack has been melting, and the Sierra Nevadas are only in a section of the state, you're dealing with a large portion of the southern state where those rivers are running the other direction. They run basically San Joaquin, Central Valley, Southern Central Valley, Imperial Valley. Those both run north. That all runs north into the bay.
well, it's like LA rents its water from an aquifer that's privately owned or something.
Oh, and the aquifer's filled from Nevada.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I mean, they ship the water in.
Which is ridiculous. But there is water in California, but it's just owned already.
No. Let's circle back a little bit.
Colorado River, so consortium.
What I want to get back to is the fact that one thing about this wine is one of the good things about this wine is it makes you converse.
Yes,
This is actually
Table piece.
This is a really solid.
Because I can't get you two to shut up about stupid stuff in California, and
your questions could be better.
I want to get back to the wine.
Okay, ask us a good question,
What-
Rob. Here, I got a good question.
What do you like about this wine?
Would you eat this with turkey?
Would I eat this
Dark
with-
meat turkey?
Would I eat this with turkey?
I'd eat this while I was drinking turkey. Yeah.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Good. They eat wine, guys. You heard it first.
Well, you asked me if I'd eat it.
Well, I was just trying to teach you about the quality of questions,
I'd eat it with some wet turkey.
not the quantity, the quality.
So let's talk about this. Dark meat turkey, yes. However, smoked turkey.
Yeah.
Smoked turkey. Yeah. I could see that without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd probably go like mesquite.
So
Kind of open range, like smoke. Yeah,
before we
desert
get into all that though,
sagey.
I don't think any one of us have mentioned the taste of this. I mean, I think we talked about the nose on it, but I don't think any of us have talked about the palate.
It's honestly, it's a little bit difficult to pinpoint like exactly what I think of this taste, and that's like something I love.
The
about it.
cherry's coming through pretty strong for me on this one. Maybe that's just my.
But it's not a big. It's not a big like.
It's not like sweet cherry. It's
Yeah, but it's not a tart cherry either. I mean, it's
that is a
It's
Bing
like a
cherry.
rate-
That is a Washington State Bing cherry.
like a black Bing cherry. Yeah, like just the essence of the flavor of a cherry, like an actual cherry.
In Washington, admittedly, there's many types.
Lisa said if you freeze wine, you could eat it. She wouldn't, but you could.
Wine cubes, they're not the worst thing.
Lisa, I've got pork chops taking up all the room that wine popsicles would be in. So I'm sorry. I got to say though, I'm with Josh on the cherry note, and I'm glad he brought it up.
I'm there
because
as well.
That's what came to me as I drank this during the tasting or sipped it. And now as I'm drinking this wine, it's like I'm working my way all the way around that cherry and just coming back to it. And that actually is a pride fruit in Washington State and grows adjacent to the wine field. So basically, grapes, North Slope, cherries, South Slope.
One thing that I have to point out
Base.
with a lot of the Washington wines I've had as well, Washington's also well known for growing hops.
Yes.
And the terroir is everything with anytime you grow
There's literally a
any kind of thing you
Yakima
grow.
hop.
Yeah. Anytime you grow stuff, I mean, it's gonna take on like the character of what it's grown in. And I can taste similar. Like, I'm not saying this tastes hoppy, but I can taste similar flavor
Swear I
profiles
just heard
between
Steve.
like common Washington hops and like a lot of the wines I have from there. Like that little bit of like sagey, earthy, and like piney almost. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I have to say the tannin level on this, it's like mid palate, and then it goes away.
It hits you almost where a hop would if you were having a beer.
And so it's not. It's really fruity up front for me, almost jammy,
Oh yeah.
and then hit tannins not too heavy, but there's definitely a tannin hit mid palate, and then that fades away to fruit again.
Oh yeah. It has like an old world finish to me too, which I really appreciate because I do love that.
Now, the reason for that is, if I remember, the reps say it had all the Bordeaux grapes in it.
Yeah, which I don't doubt that at all.
So, we're looking at a wine that's going to be, it's going to have an old world flavor to it, just
French
because.
varietals grown
Yeah,
in the Columbia Valley, right?
yeah.
So I mean, this is honestly a really cool wine. I like it a lot.
It's listed. Did you guys get into the varietals? No.
It doesn't list the varietals.
It was
I thought I remember him.
a
telling us
it was
a
all the Bordeaux grapes are in it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't list varietals, which is why I said at the beginning the only issue I have with this bottle is the label.
So
And it's not because of the label itself on the front. It's just
being Bordeaux grapes, that's going to bring me back to the food, because with Bordeaux grapes, I get to more of an earthy flavor palette for my food.
Yeah.
And I think the smoked turkey, or at least dark meat turkey,
coq au vin would be good with this.
coq au vin would be good. I mean, anything that's going to be a little earthy, a little hearty.
Yeah. I would even take just a baked potato with some nice smoked bacon.
I was going to go,
Just butter, like really good butter.
rabbit or some wild fowl of some sort.
Oh my god, I have a rabbit in the freezer.
You do.
Is it in your freezer?
Yeah, well, I also need to pick up another rabbit.
As long as it's not in our freezer here.
Oh, now I know how that happened.
Because that would be hard to explain to the
about to have
health
3
inspector.
rabbits.
How we got a freezer here?
No, that'd be hard to explain to the health inspector why we have a rabbit in our freezer.
Big rabbit sausage.
You should make rabbit.
Yeah, Lisa just said pheasant. I agree wholeheartedly. Wild fowl.
Bird, fowl.
Yep.
I need that. And grouse is
Yep.
actually a Washington State species that you would find.
What the hell is a grouse?
It's a pheasant. It's a West
About
Coast pheasant.
this big.
It makes this horrible noise in the forest that freaks you out.
Can you eat peacocks?
I'm sure you could, but once they have one chicken, yeah.
Because there's a couple of peacocks out that
I wondered where this was going.
that one winery I went to that I'd love to kill.
But yeah, I mean, this wine definitely lends itself more to a hearty, earthy, food for me.
Yeah. Now, here's a typical question of what I have to say is with Columbia Valley, I'm always going to ask, does it go with salmon? And I don't know that this is my first choice for salmon.
I don't think it would be my first choice. However,
But if we
again,
start talking smoked salmon,
I was just going to say, I've done some smoked salmon, and you guys have had it, that I think would go good with this wine.
and so that draws me back to the very first note Rob started talking about. He started talking about name the woods you were talking about. Because I got like this yucca, but you were talking about like,
Cedar.
Cedar. These are things that are involved with the preparation of smoked salmon. They are smoked on cedar.
Yeah, you
plants.
could do it on cedar plank. Yeah, most definitely.
Right, and Western red cedar is a very common species that actually makes its way over the mountaintop because, believe it or not, this tree existed before the mountains did. This is awesome in the evolutionary, like, morphology of Washington State. Was Columbia River was more like a large bay ocean, more like the mouth of the Mississippi is now, or was. And then those mountains, which are volcanic, grew up behind it and pushed the river over and tunneled it through a gorge. And eventually the river backed up through a series of lakes and ice dams and powered its way through the Portland area and made the gorge and out to the coast where Astoria is. The point being, those plant species are in ancient fossil beds on the dirt that we're talking about. So you may not see a cedar tree on this vineyard, but that cedar is in that soil in a way you can never get it out.
Oh, I got a fish pairing, I think. And it is not salmon. I think a nice mountain trout.
Now we're talking. I could see this actually.
On a cedar plank?
No.
No? I was going to do it on grill with cedar plank, but yeah.
I would do it on Papio.
I would say the
with
butter
juniper.
comes back in.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the juniper
Whitefish with
would
like,
go really well with the flavor that we got going on with this.
Okay.
Over roasted yams.
yeah. Bringing in the potato again, the yam, the sweet
Yeah.
potato, yeah.
So you have that like kind of earthiness of the yam or something like that.
Dude, we got to get you to the Blue Mountains, man.
Maybe
Walla
some
Walla's
maybe,
calling.
maybe some fiddleheads in there too.
Yeah, some fern fiddleheads. Yeah.
All right. So we talked food, we talked wine. let's just get back to
Actually rating.
yeah, let's get back to some ratings. We're actually an out.
Nail like north Pacific Western.
We're actually an hour one on the podcast, so it's time for the ratings. So we started with the passion play from Birdsong. This was yours, Josh, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you lead us off on it?
So I just have to go ahead and give the caveat that I love Birdsong. They were one of the first breweries I ever actually drank. I definitely drank their beer before I was of age to drink too.
God, you were young.
Yeah, well, I had a buddy of mine that sold beer for them that I went to college with too.
I remember my first beer.
But no, Birdsong's awesome. I love pretty much everything they put out. Passion Play, solid offering from them. Solid, mild, light, easy drinking sour. Price point's right. Size is right. I'm going to give this one a solid 1.4.
Okay.
I mean, it's nothing mind-blowing. It's not game-changing, earth-shattering. But for a sour, if you like sours and you want a beer, it's a good call. You're not going to go wrong getting this.
All right. Let me follow up with that, and then that could lead you and then into yours, Beard. So, for me, I like this sour as a just a everyday sour. One of the things that I have been encountering with sours lately is they've been trying to just outdo each other on how sour they can get.
They're like caught in IPA trap.
Yeah, exactly. How much ABV they can get, how this, that. And some of them have really lost the why I got into sour thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
This guy takes me back to it.
that's how I felt.
I mean, it's one of those things of it's just a good casual sour. It's not going to burn my gut up with high acid, high whatever. It's which sours normally didn't before. Now, quite a few of them do. I'm like, oh, I can drink half of that and I'm done.
Yeah.
This guy, I've had several cans of it. I like it. $4.75 a pint, like was said earlier. Great price point. Strawberry shows up on the nose for me. Passion fruit. Definitely on the back end with the
If you
like.
burp, you taste
Stancil,
Yeah.
you made the
Okay.
show.
Kind of cool how they did that.
But the back end with the passion fruit, I get it. It's there, but it's going to sound bad, but it's not bad in the flavor. It tastes like souring passion fruit. Like
Yeah.
it's been just a little too long, but it's not a bad thing in this beer. It's a good finish to the beer. I'm right in your neighborhood with 1.4. I'm going to go 1.5 on it though, just because this actually brought me back to trying sours again. I really haven't been doing sours for probably about 6 months.
Yeah, I was about to say I haven't seen you drinking.
And this one brought me back into the fold of trying, getting in, and seeing what I can get on, this style.
The American takes on sours can get so aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
It's stupid.
Well, it's like Nick said, they fell into the IPA trap.
That's right. IPA's got hackneyed. Sours got cliched. This is neither. And it's a passion play. Think about the title. It's a movement for love, right? Because they love beer, because they love a sour, they're going to drive back to... We said we couldn't find the strawberries. I didn't get sad about that. Like, I've eaten strawberries and never found them again. It's a short season on strawberries. You just have a few and that's fine.
Yeah.
But once you say strawberry, there's a certain direction you send my mind. And after having certain fermented strawberry beverages, totally awesome, which every time I have something with strawberries in it, I want to get people back to that because it's a really cool beverage. But the essence of strawberries fermented is far different than them as a fresh fruit. And I think that's what
You're
we
100%
always
correct.
need
Yeah.
to remember when we're talking about fruit involved in brewing. Is we're talking about something that's brought in as maybe a fresh fruit, mostly fresh. There's different ways to ferment fruit, guys, and it's not always using fresh fruit. Maybe they use a syrup. Maybe they use a
Kind of like how
concentrate.
you don't see a lot of peach sours. Because we all know what peach tastes like when you ferment it.
Oh, God. It only takes about 4 hours in the sun. Anybody who's cleaned a peach table knows what fermented peaches are going to smell like. My point being here is just simply, I feel like the sour beer overrid it all. And then we just got these suggestions of fruit that were added. Almost like they ran this beer and they're like, well, what fruits could we add to this sour taste? Which to me, that is what the essence of a sour is. You already know where this yeast is going to go with this malt build done in your intention. You'll get these contaminants, you'll do this thing. But what fruits are really in this when you do it? Okay, now tuck those fruits in there. And that's what they did. I'm going to give it a 1.65.
Wow. That's really surprising.
That is
Because he has outrated both Josh and I on sours.
It's
And-
super palatable.
That never happened.
I think that speaks very well for
I believe my
For
quote
passion play.
online was quaffable.
Yep.
Ernie, am I correct?
I believe that speaks well for passion play.
Solid beer.
Birdsong be happy with that because that is a big getting him to
I thought I'd be
it.
going in with
Number
a high
one.
rating.
yeah. I mean yeah. I can see you and I being comparable on that, but having him go 1.65.
Boy, that wine was tasty.
So that brings us to your beer.
Yeah. Actually, can I start here because I don't want to be the grand disappointer.
Yeah, no,
there's
that's
so much I
I wanted
love
you
about this
to.
beer,
I wanted you to.
But I feel like the point where I start loving the beer is where I want to let these guys pick up the conversation. Okay, this thing has a lot of hidden flavor right up front, and it's all really tucked together. And we talked about earthy all night long amidst the Murray wine. We talked about earthy flavors of passion fruit, and then we got to this Mole Digger, which basically is built on earthy hops with the Amarillo. With also Josh talked about having herbaceous and earthy tones. It's the Tunnel Digger from Mad Mole. It's literally underground. So I'm not surprised that I think it's earthy. It's in the name. So what I got was this like dusty, earthy, herbaceous layer, but then under that there's this nugget of just like this citrus wheel just floating around waiting for you to pick up on it. And anytime you get bored with the flavor, you just kind of, oh, there it is, yeah. However, as you drink this beer, it, in this very friendly, like, drunk session way, I could open this beer and halfway through I stopped tasting it and I could put down 6 more. Because there's nothing I can find negative about the flavor. But I do think that I hit the wall on flavor pretty quick, which could be what Rob is talking about with just bitterness. When it's bitterness, and then for me on the palate, what happens is I just stop tasting bitter, and all of a sudden it's the beverage I want.
Yeah,
and it's all I want, you know. And so that could be a positive, that could be a negative. For me, that was positive because I found that drinkable, and I'm just gonna say, hell yeah, I love it. Mad Mole 1.7, good job, great beer, good flavor. It's not the best, and I would say you labeled it well, New England style IPA, you know, just stylistic, yeah.
So what was your rating?
1.7.
1.7.
Sticking,
All right. Fair enough.
sticking to the ring.
So I gotta say, with the flavor profile of this, going off what you were talking about.
Did you just roll off a couple rumblers?
No.
No, it was totally the chair.
No, those are my flip flops. We are in an enclosed space. Thank you very much. Now, as far as this goes, flavor profile wise, especially harkening back to what you're
That's
saying,
never
how,
stopped him
like,
before.
You taste the bitter, and like eventually you start tasting other stuff. It's kind of like drinking hot black coffee, and your tongue just gets a little bit scorched.
Okay.
And,
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you just like start tasting different things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you're not you're literally not able to taste certain things because your tongue's hot and slightly burnt, and then you're tasting other different things. IBUs only go up to a certain point, and then like the human tongue literally cannot taste any more bitterness.
Yeah.
The other thing to remember about hops is that we still don't fully understand the science behind them. As much as we love beer in this country and the world, we still don't fully understand how hop bitterness works. We're getting closer every day, but we still haven't figured it out. So you can totally just get like overwhelmed with bitter, and then your brain and body starts tasting other flavors.
Yeah,
And
like
that's what
literally,
you're
I
picking
mean,
up.
there's like a high, like a frenzy associated with this.
Whether that is like even an actual thing or whether it's like perceived remains to be seen through scientific testing.
What do we call it? Laconic
This
conditioning?
is a great solid IPA, and I have to give Mad Mole absolute credit for really knocking this one out of the park. I'm not a huge IPA drinker, but I still remember like the first tasting. My number one thing I love about the beers I had from them is there's something about the way they do their beer that it does not kill my stomach. And
Yeah.
a lot of the IPAs out there just have this habit-wreaking effect on my gut.
Is that balance? Is that ultimately what we're
Especially
talking
with
about?
the New England IPAs and the hazies, like some of them just like as soon as I take like 4 or 5 sips, there's something that's like a little ticking time bomb in there.
I didn't get that sweet, milky taste with this. That
No.
that the real
I don't know if
New
it's
England.
bucolic acid or what, but there are like different things that can pop up. I'm actually gonna echo you on this, Nick. 1.7.
Title this one, Josh and Nick agreed.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% in league with you. This is a great beer. I like it a lot. It's also from Wilmington.
It's
right down the road.
local. It's so cool.
And it's a fully solar brewery.
Dude, Mad Mole's really fun. Like, I can't believe I feel like I'm a newbie today.
They're named for moles, and all their energy comes from the sun, which is something a mole doesn't see.
I do groundwork on the daily. Like, I should be all about these guys.
All right. So for me, I'm just gonna say it was an IPA. That
True.
yes. That I did that I didn't hate.
That's not negative.
No, but here's the thing. I mean, you guys know I'm not a big IPA fan.
Not an IPA guy.
I'm coming around,
What are you,
but
like 5'8"?
Jesus.
I'm coming around to IPAs and stuff.
Ernie's a big IPA guy.
But I'm not a big IPA guy. So the thing about it is, it's got to take something really impressive to blow me out of the water.
Are you still in the water?
I'm in the water, and the thing is that might not be a bad thing. At least I'm drinking it,
Yeah.
and I didn't have a problem drinking it, and it had a really nice. While we were getting into the wine, it had a really nice belch.
Yeah.
Which a lot of you will laugh, but yeah, hey, that's a sign of a good beer at times.
I had to try doing it.
But for me, I mean, if I'm going to go after an IPA, this might be in my pack. Yeah, if I want to have one a night, this is probably going to be in my pack.
Ernie, if you're still watching, I've got a case of Focal Banger on the way. Let's see what Rob thinks about that.
Some Volkswagen?
So
Focal Banger.
right now I'm looking. I'm definitely not a 1.7. I'm thinking more 1.2 for me. That's not bad.
It's really not.
For me on IPAs, that's kind of, like you 1.65 on the sours. There've been a couple of IPAs that made me feel really good, but this one,
I haven't yawned yet.
So I'm gonna stick 1.2 on Mad Mole.
Both these guys
And Mad Mole, don't think that's bad by any means, because I'm just not a big IPA drinker. So pay attention to those guys on the IPAs. Moving on, we got the Murray. This is not the Murray Ranch, which is another label from theirs. This is the straight Murray. This is their Columbia River
Red
blend.
That's what it says, right?
$21 a bottle.
Like Josh said, there's not a lot to this label. Like
It really is not a lot to the label.
there's like a mandala.
It
says
doesn't.
Murray.
It does not list any of the grapes. We know from the rep that it is a Bordeaux blend. It carries all the Bordeaux grapes. Like I said, 21 a bottle. Has
I feel like they're taking full advantage of American labeling.
on opening, it's got a big cedar nose to it. However, aerating it out, you get a lot of fruit on the nose. Very rounded, almost sweet fruit. You have some definitely have the cherries come through. And then on the palate, you've got a nice little fruit on the front end. You've got tannins mid palate, and then those fade away quickly to more fruit on the back end. I like this as a good drinking table wine. One thing it led to with us was just conversation. We got away from the wine very quickly, talked about other things. The
Geography, food.
circle back around, and we got to the food. So I'm gonna go one.
Mostly geography and food.
I'm gonna go 1.35 on this for me.
135's not a bad rating.
Go ahead, Nick, since you ready to talk.
Yeah, I am I stealing your thunder?
Nope, go for it.
I thought it was Rolling Thunder.
Yeah.
I thought that was our team here.
Yeah.
Rolling
That's
Thunder.
Alabama, isn't it? Oh, that's Rolling Tide.
No, Rolling Thunder's a ride at Six Flags Great America. But it's actually one of the older metal roller coasters. Anyways, you should like that. You're a metal fan. I like Murray. I have things in my memory attached to Murray. Hence my recollection of landscape and things like that. But I'm reminded tonight about why this is a great wine. It's party ready. It's table ready. It's also like cellar ready. Like, not that I want to age this, but it's a bottle I could just pop in my shelves. So when people look around, hey, can we try something? Pull this out, you know? And then I don't have, not like I want to be a bait and switch artist in my own home library. It seems kind of weird, It's like, well, you're not even selling this real estate. What's so weird? But it gives people an opportunity to really dig into flavor and talk about what they like while experiencing something slightly different. This is not California wine. This is not French wine. This is this other category that most of the world considers to be like the newest of the new world, This is like people who've been drinking wine for centuries basically look at this piece of land like, well, we've only been there for 200 years. How can you even have grapevines? The answer is, it gets into what we were talking about with the controlled burning, with the desert steep, with the development of the diastrophic landform, that this was a place on Earth that was basically set up for cultivation of wine and fruit. And people very quickly figure out how to maximize it. I love what they do. Murray, I don't know if I'm going to 1.5 you. I feel like you're a 1.4 on my table. But from anywhere to steak, smoked salmon, or just like a really incredible earthy veggie dinner, a grilled veggie pocket would kill with this, especially at a string cheese show. No Gruyere.
No Gruyere.
I'm gonna stick with that 1.4. I feel confident about saying that with the Murray 2020.
Cool.
Is it a 2020? Is it
No,
19?
2017.
Oh, it's digging back.
It's got some age on it. So I have to say, I have no gripes, qualms, or anything with the flavor profile, like anything about like the way this wine tastes and smells. I love it. Like, this is exactly what I want from like a Washington style red. I like them. I tend to like them. I'm not a huge Pinot Noir person. I know there's a lot of Pinot Noir that goes up there in Oregon and Washington. Outside of that, the other varietals, I like those. I mean, there's like a delicacy, there's like a delicate nature to them, and I like it. They tend to get closer to the old world taste sometimes for me than California does, and that's what I really appreciate about it. The terroirs, it's closer, frankly, to France than California is.
It's that diastrophic land formation.
The number one issue I have with this bottle of wine, which I said out the gate, that label for that price point is terrible. And I hate to be so basic as to complain about a label, but if you want me to pay $21 for a bottle of wine,
It's too
I
simple.
wish the label was a little bit more. Now,
It's a mad world.
Before we get to your rating, you keep mentioning what do you look for in that though?
once you hit like 19 and below, like a super basic like one label thing where there's not a whole lot of info, I could get used to all that. Once we hit that big 2-0,
So is the complaint that there's no back label with varietals?
there's just not. It's just it, and this is actually just me feeding into the consumeristic nature
Uh-huh.
It looks
of America.
generic.
This is 100% that. Like, that's all this
It's
is.
shelf wine.
It's
what
basically
it looks
me being trained as a consumer to expect more from a label,
like. That's right. I thought the same thing, and then my memory started like clicking. They haven't changed their label for a long time, and so the thing that
It
I
reminds me.
recognize-
We worked at Silver Coast for so long. This reminds me of a label we'd see at Silver Coast.
So you know how sometimes
And
there's
then I had to like think about it.
butterball wines that make themselves into better wines.
My rating for this is going to be a solid 1.3. Flavor profile, like all that, like I would not hesitate to pay $21 for this.
Boy, the guys got
this is
tough with
good.
their thumbs.
Yeah. I wish the label was just a little bit. The quality of this wine makes me wish the label was a little bit nicer.
Yeah,
Because
but-
I feel like it.
Again, my question on the label, going back to that, is what more do you want on the? I mean,
I like simplicity.
it's a red wine. from Columbia Valley, 2017
See the
vintage.
side print? They tucked it
I mean,
all in there.
the side print has the legal stuff. The only thing I'm missing from the label on the back label would be the varietals.
I'm upset that I like this wine as much as I do, and the bottle is not prettier.
Okay, all right.
So I'm with
If that makes any sense, that's really
I'm,
what
I'm
it
with
boils
Josh
down
on
to.
this. I think it's an understated. Okay, is that a nice word for this?
It's a hidden gem, honestly.
So it's one of those. So it's one.
That's exactly what Marie is.
So it's one of those things in a wine shop where it's going to take a hand sale. Mm-hmm. It's going the
If you
the
walk
bottle.
in here-
So your disagreement with the bottle is it won't sell itself unless you walk in there and tell somebody it's good.
Except for the
You
colors
need
on
to
the
know what this is
the colors,
before you buy it.
the label choice, the colors on the label, on it, like impressed on that cotton white label with that color capsule are perfectly chosen. And,
Yeah, I
and
mean-
does somebody want to know what it tastes like?
It is such a nondescript
like
bottle.
those colors all put together.
I don't know a single person, even myself, walking into a random wine shop, looking at a shelf, that would look at this bottle and be like, "Oh, I'm curious about that."
Is that a tea leaf
So-
bottle? A tea leaf poured out.
Placing on our shelf is important. We'll place this at the end of the cabs.
I'm never gonna say this wine's bad. I'm just saying, like,
Well, right where Two Mountain,
We're
we're
gonna-
sitting
we'll-
that Two Mountain blend somewhere
We'll,
near
we'll,
there.
we'll place this at the end of the cabs
Next
and
to the
see how it
Pirates.
sells.
yeah, this is a great wine. I like it a lot.
So what was your rating on it?
He said 2.3. 2.3?
I
1
said-
point.
1.4.
Okay. All right. So 1.4.
I think I just brought you up a half a point.
That's gonna get us to the end of our ratings. Josh, I think you have something for us.
Yeah, I've got something. Oh,
Hey,
let me figure
hold
out
on,
where
let
the
me-
hell it's at. Oh yeah, if you're watching us on YouTube and not watching us live, please do remember to honestly send us some more wines with weird labels
And
because
just
we
don't-
love talking about them,
Hey,
and also ham.
Pam. Smoked beef.
Not-
Salmon
not,
pate.
not smoked beef.
You
but
got
salmon.
smoked beef on Sunday.
Specifically ham, and I'm not just
That
talking
doesn't
about
sound right.
ham. Like we want all the hams.
All the
Pickle
hams.
loaf, everything. All the weird, gnarliest, most disgusting looking
Head
hams that you can
cheese.
find.
We're
If you
gonna
run
end up getting head
If you
cheese.
run across something that looks like you wouldn't eat it, please send it our way, and we will try it on air.
I can't.
Absolutely,
Once it goes above 30% fat, I can't even touch it.
yes, you can.
That's brain matter.
All right.
Yeah.
So
but also, do remember to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you don't tell us how you feel or what you're thinking, we don't know how you feel or what you're thinking. Because believe it or not, none of us could read minds.
no, but I'm gonna think you hate us.
Hey,
Rob just assumes that anyway.
don't worry, Rob. He's not your governor.
But seriously, head cheese is fair game if you send it our way. Rob and I will eat it.
I thought
have.
the olive loaf sounded good.
All right, guys. So that's gonna bring us to the end of another episode of What Are You Drinking Now? Here at the office.
If you bring us a can of Spam, we will all eat 1-inch thick slices. Cold.
Why is he doing this
I don't
to
know.
us?
I think I just told them in hand motions.
Before we start the show.
So you won't be able to watch. No, that's got to be something
it
on air.
At the start of the
Subscribe
show.
it.
At the show.
Now, it helps if you subscribe it, then you like it, because then your subscribers know what we're talking about. Then throw your comments.
So Lisa, who's one of our last watchers, there's two people watching us. Wait a minute, there's one person watching us. That's Lisa. She said, "Oh no, there's two. Jessica's on there too."
She's
Lisa
looking up
said,
prices.
"Lisa said you are asking for trouble," and then she said, "Stay safe, enjoy." And then Jessica just gave us a bunch of laughing face emojis. So
Yes.
I have a feeling.
We're getting cornmeal muffins.
Yeah,
and
I
bacon.
think Josh just did it to us.
Not bacon.
Hey,
like
Josh,
country ham.
next week before the show,
You're getting hot grits.
when you go
thrown on
home,
you.
you need to make up some cornbread.
For
the ham that Jessica's going to bring us.
I knew it.
So, all right, guys.
Put the green chili right in
All
there.
right, guys. So that's going to do it for us for another week. I had a good time. We went a little long. So we'll see you next week.
It's that
and you have a good one, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
See you guys.
Later.